Hi, welcome to Kitchen Time with Dad. I'm Dad and this is
Katira.
And tonight we are making what? That's right, what kind of oatmeal are we making?
Brown cinnamon sugar.
Yes, brown sugar and cinnamon oatmeal. We are making that tonight. We have 6 cups of water in our pan already, so we're turning that on to boil. And we have, what in this container?
Oats.
That's right, we have 3 cups of oats. Do you remember what this one is? It's molasses. We have a half a tablespoon of molasses. What's this one? Is it the cinnamon? So we have 3 teaspoons of our cinnamon. And our sweetener is actually not brown sugar. We're using agave. We get our agave in big bottles. We have 1/3 cup of agave. We use the molasses to kind of give it that brown sugar flavor idea. And before we're done, we will add 1 cup of chopped apples. It's fall. We like to use apples in our oatmeal. So we'll go ahead and let our water boil, and we'll come back and show you the next step. Here we are. We waited and waited and waited. Our water is finally boiling, so we're going to go ahead and take off our lid and carefully pour in our 3 cups of oats.
I hope it doesn't burn me.
That's right. That's why you stand back. And of course it stops the boiling process. But you want to constantly be mixing your oats, especially once it gets boiling again. If you're not careful, they will boil over the pan. So once it gets boiling again, we've got our whisk, and we will whisk in. We'll whisk in a little bit of our cinnamon at a time. The reason for that is so we don't get clumps. We don't necessarily enjoy clumps of cinnamon in our oatmeal. So we'll go ahead and just kind of sprinkle it on top and whisk it in. Yes, you may. There we go.
That looks good.
Yes, it smells good too, doesn't it?
Yep.
Okay. Like I said, this keeps you from getting clumps of cinnamon in your oats, or at least it helps. So that is our 3 teaspoons. Careful, why don't you let Danny do that now? Because I don't want it to splash over and get you.
How can it splash?
Oh, because it's hot and it can. Okay, so we've got our cinnamon.
That looks good and it smells good.
It does. We have our cinnamon in there. So we are going to go ahead and add our agave.
Yummy!
So we have our 3rd cup of agave, and we'll get that in here. And then we have our, remember what this one was? Do you remember? Molasses.
Molasses.
Yes, and that just helps to give it a little bit more of a brown cinnamon flavor. Okay, so get that in there so we get that all out, all the molasses off that. And then we just have to let it boil again. And once it starts to thicken up again, like I said, you got to keep stirring it. Once it thickens up, we'll add our apples and we'll finish up our job. So we'll be back once it thickens. We're back. We turned the stove down to about 5. Make sure it doesn't boil over completely. We are mixing it up. It's starting to thicken up. The oats have absorbed some water. So you see we've got a heaping cup of apples. You can really put as much as you want in. The more the better sometimes. So we cut those up real small pieces. Go ahead and dump that in real careful. There you go. So that's in there. And so just kind of enough to get them warmed up. Maybe you want them cooked a little bit. It's up to your liking, however you prefer your apples. So that is just about it. It's thickening up. Our oatmeal is just about finished.
And it's very good.
It is. We love our apple brown sugar cinnamon oatmeal.